Morning, this is your math sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is going to be a review of writing parallel lines and perpendicular lines, and also we're going to look at some star linear equation problems. All right, first off, I want to note that this page numbers need to be changed. This should not start at 5. This should have been 7. And the backside, please change it to from 6 to 8. I forgot to make those changes, so please change those to 7 to 8. All right. So it says, given the equation 2x plus 3y equals negative 18, solve for y and graph it below. If we're solving for y, that means it's going to look like y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So I'm going to rewrite that equation so I have some room to work. So we have 2x plus 3y equals negative 18. The goal is to get this y by itself. I start by moving things across to the other side of the equal sign. So I need to move this 2x. It's currently a positive 2x, so I need to do a minus 2x. This goes away, and on this side, I'll still have 3y. Over here, these do not combine. I cannot combine the x's with the constants. I can't combine the variables, so I have a negative 2x minus 18. So I just write it off to the side like that, and I wanted the mx plus b, so it looks like that. Here we have two numbers together, so I need to separate them. If you're separating, you're going to be dividing, so I need to divide by 3. This just becomes 1y, or just y. So y equals negative 2/3 x minus 6. All right, we know my b, because we want it to be y equals mx plus b, and now we look like that. So my b is negative 6. So we can go ahead and make a point here at negative 6. And we have negative 2/3. We do not want to forget about the angry man eyebrows. So we need to be going down. So I'm going to go down 2 and over 1, 2, 3, and I have an angry man eyebrow. I'm also going to keep doing that just to repeat it. And we're going to play connect the dots at this point, and we're going to get this line. Okay, next, find point slope form. Okay, point slope form. They're telling me they want it to look like this. All right, of the equation that is parallel. Okay, parallel means it's going to have the same slope to the equation on the right, and graph it. It needs to pass through this point, negative 6, negative 4. Well, that's kind of nice of them. That means they gave me my starting point. So my starting point is negative 6, negative 4. And they told me they wanted to look like y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So let's deal with the x's and y's first. We know this is the x. We know this is the y. So when we plug in, we're going to have y and 4 equals, leave a space, and x and 6. The thing we have to be careful of is when we plug into the point slope form, they're liars, so we have to switch the sign. So this negative 4 becomes a positive 4. This negative 6 becomes a positive 6. But we still need our slope. But they told us it was parallel to the equation to the right. Well, if it's parallel, it must have the same slope. So our slope over here was negative 2/3. So we're just going to plug in negative 2/3. And we now have our equation. Okay, our starting point. We start at negative 6, negative 4. So negative 6, negative 4, that's right here. And negative 2/3, down 2 over 1, 2, 3. And down 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3. And when we connect our dots here, playing connect the dots, it looks like we have two parallel lines, and that's what we said that we wanted. All right, the next one, find a point slope form. Once again, they said point slope form. So when they say that, I know they want y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So that's what they want. But they say now they're saying perpendicular. All right, we're going to have to pay attention to that perpendicular to the equation to the right and passes through the point -6, -4. Well, that's kind of nice. They gave us our starting point. So our starting point goes right here is -6, -4. So we can go ahead and start plugging into our equation because we know our x and y, because this is my x, this is my y. So this is going to be y and 4 equals, I'm going to leave a space for the slope, equals x and 6. But remember, when we plug into the point slope form of the equation, when we plug in, we have to switch our sign. So this negative becomes a positive, and this negative becomes our positive. That said, the starting point is still what they actually claimed right here. So we're going to go to -6 and -4, and we already have a point there, so that's going to be our starting point. But we need to deal with our slope. Well, they told us it was perpendicular. Remember, if it's perpendicular, we flip it and change the sign. So this was our slope. So I need to flip it. And it was originally a -2/3, and now it's a positive 3/2 because I flipped it and I changed the sign. So if I go up 1, 2, 3 and over 1, 2, and up 1, 2, 3 and over 1, 2, and up 1, 2, 3 and over 1, 2. And I can do that one more time. And when we do that and we create true perpendicular lines, we create right angles, 90-degree angles or right angles. Okay, so there we go. All right, STAAR question. A painter charges $35 per hour plus $40 for a ladder rental when he paints a house. The customer provides the paint. The total charge to paint a customer's house was $950. How many hours did the painter spend painting this house? Okay, good question. Let's go ahead and write this equation. So first off, we have a linear equation and we see the word per. And the fact that I see that, I go, oh, that must be a slope. So I'm thinking, okay, this is y equals mx plus b. I'm going to do this in blue. So y equals mx plus b. And m is 35. So y equals 35x. And plus, they spend $40 for a ladder. This is a plus. So I know this is going to be a plus. And it's a one-time fee. And the y-intercept is always going to be a starting point or a one-time fee. So they're spending $40 plus $35 an hour. All right. The total charge to paint a customer's house was $950. So where does that $950 go? Well, it can either go for the y or the x. But they're talking about the total amount spent, not how many hours, because x is the number of hours. So x equals the number of hours. So this was a total charge. So this is $950 equals 35x plus 40. All right, we can go ahead and solve this by dropping the Desmos. So that's where I'm going to head to. So I'm going to just type in the equation we had, which was y equals 35x plus 40. Okay, it didn't do anything for me. I press enter and it's like, it gives me a line. But I need to plug in the number 950. Oops, not 960, 950. And it's not solving it. Why? Well, first off, I need to change that to a squiggle. Then I need to change this to the letter N. And all of a sudden I get N equals 26. And that is my answer. So my answer is X equals 26 hours. So I'm going to stop my share and go back. X is 26 hours. Well, guess what? It's not here, so my answer is J. Alternatively, I could have plugged in all the answer choices and see which one gave me, if any of them gave me uh, 950. So let's try that out real quickly because we have 12 and 2/3, 28, and 23H. So give me just a moment. I'm going to switch back over and put in our original work. So we could look at this and go, well, we had 950 equals 35x, and I'll put parentheses there for the x because we're going to plug into that. And then we had plus 40. Well, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of the 950 and put in for 35. Let's put 12, 2 divided by 3. Nope, don't want it to look like this. Well, oh, that's 483. That's not right. We needed that to be 950. That's not correct. So let's change that number again. And we'll try 28. 1020. Nope, that's too much. So then we'll try 23. Nope, 845. That's not enough. So the answer choice didn't show up because none of them equaled the 950. So in this case, it was J not here. So you could have either solved it using the unsolved portion, or you could have plugged in answer choices to see which one worked. All right, and none of them did in this case. Flipping the other side. What is the equation in standard form of the line that passes through the point 124 and has a slope of 0.6? Gosh, that's kind of a tough question. So first off, let's look at this. This is X and this is Y. So let's go ahead and start typing in. I'm going to go to Desmos and I'm going to start typing in these questions. I'm going to type in 3x plus 5y equals 125, etc. So give me just a moment while I do that. And so 3x plus 5y, 5y equals 5. Because what we're going to end up doing is for each one of these, we're going to plug in answer choices and see which one actually even works first. You know what? I'm going to redo that. Sorry, this is taking a little time. Because I'm going to put parentheses around them just because I find that the parentheses really, really help me with Desmos. It gets rid of a bunch of errors that I might have made otherwise. Okay, about there. So 77 and 123. And of course, the lights go out at the best time ever, always. But we're saving you money on our energy bills. All right, so switching over. So hopefully you see the Desmos screen and you see all the answer choices the way they showed up, except I put X and Y. Well, we know X, they told us X was 1, so I'll put in a 1 in there. And then I'm going to put a 24 in there. Now I'm going to erase this and see if it actually equals 125. No, it equals 123. That means it can't be the first choice because it needs to equal 123. Well, if it equals 123, that narrows it down to exactly one problem. So the only one that equaled 123 was letter H. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the share and go, you know what? I needed it to equal 123. That's H. Well, where did this negative 0.6 comes from? And it's going to be important that you're able to figure out the slope because sometimes it'll just ask you for the slope and you won't have these other choices. If it just asks you for the slope, what that means is you need to solve for y, and you'll need to put it in y equals mx plus b format. And in this case, we have 3x plus 5y equals 123. Well, I need to move this 3x. So that needs to be a minus 3x. This goes away, and now I have 5y equals negative 3x plus 123 because I cannot combine my variables and constants. These cannot combine, so it ends up being like this. I'm going to divide everything by 5. All right, well, this goes away, and this is y equals negative 3/5 x plus 123 over 5. This right here is my slope. That's my m. So we know m equals negative 3 over 5. And if I go to Desmos, that will tell me that's negative 0.6. All right, so that's how they got that negative 0.6. That's where that came from. Okay, moving on. The dishwasher at a restaurant is loaded with the same number of dishes every time it is used. The table below shows the total number of dishes washed as the function of the number of times the washer was used. So if it's used 2 times, there's 52. 4 times, 104. Based on the table, what is the total number of dishes that will have been washed when the dishwasher is used 9 times? So I need to find out what this value is. They're telling me my x is 9, and I need to know what this is. Okay, there's a couple ways to do this, but we're going to do this as a linear equation. We're going to go, you know what? We need y equals mx plus b. So we need to be able to write our equation. Well, we can input the entire table into Desmos, or we could just input 2 points. I'm going to be fairly lazy about this, or efficient, as you may want to say, and just input 2 points where this is my x and this is y. Okay, so I'm going to flip over to Desmos and we're going to have at it in just a moment. Okay, so in Desmos, now that I'm in Desmos, I'm going to press the plus button and I'm looking to say, oh, it has a table. And we'll have 2 and 52. And then we have 4 and 104. All right, and we'll push this little button right here, add regression, and it gives me y equals 26x plus 0. I'm going to click that so it pops it in. And you go, hey, you know what? There's an x. I'm going to put parentheses around the x. And we want to know what happens when we do it 9 times. So I just put a 9 there, and I get 234. So my answer is 234, and if we were bubbling on the document, we'd write 234.00. Okay, so that takes care of that one. All right, the next one, y equals negative 4/5 x. What is the value of x when y equals negative 9? Cool, easy problem, especially with Desmos. We're going to go y equals negative 4/5 x minus 2, and I'm parentheses around the 9, the y, because that's what I'm going to plug in for. So this is going to be negative 9 equals negative 4/5 x minus 2. This is what I'm going to plug into Desmos right there. So we're going to switch back over to Desmos. And negative 9 equals negative 4 divided by 5 x, oops, there we go, x minus 2. Important not to have that x in the denominator. All right, so it didn't solve anything because I have a problem. So I need to, first off, I need to change that to the squiggle. And then I need to change this to an n. And I end up getting 8.75. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's take that 8.75, copy it, make another number. Put that 8.75 there and see if we can get it to turn it into a fraction for us. And it did. I just hit the little circle on the side and it gives me 35/4. Now, in this case, we have a couple 35s/4. We have a negative and we have a positive. And to be honest with you, if you're not sure what it is, now ours is showing it's a positive, so I believe it's H. But if you're not sure, let's go back to our equation, our original equation. Oops. Because the original equation they gave us was y equals -4 divided by 5 parentheses x minus 2. All right, let's put in 35/4. And when it's positive, we get -9. What happens if we put in a negative in there? Then we get 5. So it must have been the positive. So you can always plug your answer back in to check it. So we know for sure that our answer is H. It's 35/4. All right, so that's our answers. Appreciate you watching. I hope this was helpful and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.